this one.
Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that fly Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. Money, 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 money. We got that fly Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. We love our black skin, our melanin, always focusing in on that money. We always win, money never thin, 'cause we hustling, always focusing in money, 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 money. We got that money, 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 money. We that fly Nubian money. Boss talk only, we stack it up.
Yo, 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 what up? I love that intro.
You know, I wrote that song. Yeah, I wrote
That's
that.
beautiful. I love
Did
it.
you?
Oh, man.
You like royalties?
I really
It gives
did.
me
Right.
hype.
I
might
really
not
did
be
write
like,
that.
when we come in, but I get to hear that song. I'm like, okay, it's not Nubian money. Okay. All right. So welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your money. Before we get into today's conversation, we do want to give a trigger warning. We're discussing the death of a young woman, and some of the details may be difficult to hear. Ashlee Jenae, also known as Ashley Robinson, a 31-year-old influencer, died in Zanzibar, Tanzania on April 9th, 2026, during what has been described as an engagement trip. Local authorities have ruled her death a suicide following a report dispute with her fiance. Her family is calling the situation suspicious and is actively seeking answers. Those are the facts as they stand right now. Now, here's where the conversation starts, because stories like this don't just stay about what happened, they quickly turn into narratives. Who she was with, where she was, what kind of man she chose, what kind of life she was living. And one of the narratives that always comes up in conversations like this is the idea that a soft life is safer, especially when it's tied to proximity, to wealth, status, or even dating outside your race. So today we're not here to speculate. We're here to talk about risk, emotional risk, financial risk, travel risk, relationship risk. Because at the end of the day, the question is not just what happened, it's how do you protect yourself? No matter who you're with, where you are, or what lifestyle you think you're stepping into. And so make sure, I'm gonna go back, trigger warning, right? So we're gonna have an intelligent conversation from as safe a place as possible, while still being honest and transparent. And so I'm joined by some dope queens on the panel today. We have our executive producer extraordinaire, Miss Black Hollywood, also known as Tiara Williams. We have Shalaye Camillo, CEO of, usually it's up there and I can read it.
Vital Source Realty.
Say it to me again.
Vital Source Realty.
Vital Source Realty. There it is there. And we have Nomalanga, motherhood, marriage, and money making. Welcome to the panel, ladies. Let's just start off with initial reactions, right? It's all over social media. I don't know if it's over the news, but it's definitely all over social media. So when you first heard about it, headline, maybe even the video, Shalaye, what were your first thoughts?
Well, this is actually my first time hearing about it.
Okay.
I've been off social media and I'm like, this is really, really sad. Really sad and really scary.
Yeah. What about you, Nomalanga?
I was just a bit curious about it, and at first I tried to actually ignore it because it was just going through my timeline, but it's been coming on and on until I took a look. And yeah, it's really sad, and it's very provoking when you dig into it.
Provoking?
Yeah, because when I first saw it, I saw a thing where she said something like, I'm with my, whatever, and there's a picture of them together. And then just before that, there was another post where she was like, Black men wake up to let us down every day, or something like that. And I was just like, oh, cool. She
All
said
right.
something. It was like a contrast where she was there with her guy and saying lovely things, right? And then right underneath that, I don't know if people did that on purpose. It said something like, "Oh, Black men wake up every day just to let us down," something like that. And I thought, oh,
The nerve. Okay. Tiara, what about you? What are your thoughts when you first watched the video?
Well, I definitely wanted to ignore this story. I did not want us to talk about it, but I feel like it was the elephant in the room that we couldn't discuss. I was just waiting. I didn't want to make speculation on what happened. I didn't want us to sit around and be like, I think he killed her. I think he didn't. I don't know. Because it's such a sensitive topic to me, for me, and, because this same thing happened to my cousin. But I just, after we start talking about money, I was like, okay, well, there's some money in there to, to have this conversation. But I think it's important that we have it, around Black women. I'm waking up every day to news that, somebody's partner that they thought that they would spend their lives with is unaliving Black women. So I just thought we were vulnerable, and it was important for us to have that conversation.
We're vulnerable, are vulnerable, every day, all the time. I think when I first saw it, I've been seeing it for a couple of days now. Watched the video. When I first saw it, so I didn't know she was talking about the soft life, but I have been seeing a lot of different quote unquote influencers, content creators, let's call them that, content creators, who are preaching this message of a soft life. And unfortunately, I have been seeing more Black women creating the idea that a soft life comes with a white or a pale skin partner, right? Any more Black? First of all, this is not a soft life conversation, but I feel like we could have that conversation. Like, what the hell is a soft life? Let's start there. Second, I wish there were more Black women talking about their soft life with their Black men, right? I feel like there's this soft life is becoming synonymous with you got to have a white man if you want to be taken care of. And that's not true.
A rich white man.
Not just any old white man. He has to be. Okay.
Yes.
So before we go any further, let's go ahead and look at our first video so we can get some context around the situation. For those of you who may not have heard about it or you may not have seen it, we'll start there, and then we're going to keep diving into this conversation.
Yeah. Let us let it load.
No, I thought we were ready for load. Okay.
We ready. We always ready. It's loaded.
We stay ready.
We stay ready.
Ages of 18 and 25. The way you register for the draft is about to change
Oh, no.
permanently. I'm Fox News anchor
Oh,
LaNée
no.
Slagon.
Oh,
The Selective Service.
That's not it right there.
Oh, no, that's not it. It's the same lady though. So my bad. All right, it's the same lady. We be getting our news from this young lady daily. Clearly. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. Redo. All right, here we go. This is the for real one. We laying the foundation for this thing.
Influencer Ashlee Robinson. She went by Ashlee Jenae online. I obtained video of a news conference today in Tanzania in which officials say they are holding Joe McCann for questioning and they are holding his passport while police wait for the postmortem. We have been unable to reach Joe McCann. Now, yesterday I reported on this story. You may recall Robinson was on vacation of a lifetime in Zanzibar, an island off the coast of Tanzania in Africa. She was there to celebrate her 31st birthday with her boyfriend of about a year and a half, according to the family. Joe McCann proposed to her on that trip, but last week, something went terribly wrong. Police say Robinson was found unconscious in her villa and was rushed to the hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. Now, her parents received a call from McCann saying that something had happened, but they say it was the resort that told them about the death of their child. Again, the new information today, officials say they are holding Joe McCann for questioning and are holding his passport.
So I'm going to start out with, do you believe the official story, or does this feel incomplete to you? Shalaye, your eyebrows are furrowed, so we'll start with you.
It definitely feels incomplete, and obviously it's pretty new. Well, I mean,
it's been a couple of days, because
almost a week.
Initially, let me back up a little bit, because they didn't show that in the video. Initially, they were saying that she had committed suicide. Initially, they were saying that she had unalived herself. Sorry, not. They were saying that she had used a piece of clothing to unalive herself initially. So the fact that they are holding him and for questioning, this is new. This is a progress in the case.
Okay.
Well, they
Yeah.
said that she had hung
They
herself.
were
Really?
yeah, they found her hung with
So go ahead.
clothing.
No.
Yeah.
No. A woman who is supposedly happy and on an engagement trip, why would she go there to unalive herself? What message is that? Was she trying to send by doing that? Absolutely not.
All right.
There was the story though. Sorry to
I want to
interrupt.
give
There
more
was a
context
story
because
though
there's.
that said that
Hold
they
on one
had a
second, Noma.
fight.
Hold on one second, Noma. There's. I'm gonna make sure we have proper context, right?
Yeah.
So they go there for an engagement trip. He proposes to her. After the proposal, they get into some type of an altercation. They're in, I guess, room 25. There's somebody next to their room, which is in room 24, who calls and says there's something going on in this room. The hotel staff goes to the room and separates them. Puts him in one room, puts her in another room.
Oh.
There's some one of the hotel staff goes to her room for something. Her lights go out, something happens, and says, hey, while he's there, she tells this person, hey, come back in 15 minutes. When this person comes back in 15 minutes, knocks at the door, they recognize that her lights are out and it's quiet. So they use a car key or some kind of something to get into her room. When they go into her room, they find her hanging. They pull her down
minutes?
in a matter, I don't know, it didn't say how long it had transpired, but that person said that she told them to come back in 15 minutes. They returned. I don't know if it was 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but when they returned, they found her hanging from her room, in her room. They brought her down. She was still alive. They took her to the hospital. She passed at the hospital. Initially, they said that she had unalived herself because of how they found her. And then as time has prolonged, now they are questioning the husband and saying, wait a minute, hold on a second.
Yeah, and that's like
more context so that we have, so you guys kind of know where we are.
Thank you, LaNée.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, I'm sure this will come out whether or not she has a history of like mental illness. I'm sure that they're gonna dig around and ask questions about that. But absent of that, I had a fight with my boyfriend and now I'm so mad that I'm going to take my life. I'm not saying that it's not possible. But that is very extreme.
All right. Nomalanga, so sorry to cut you off. What were you saying?
I was actually just saying the part about when Shalaye was like, that doesn't make sense. I was just trying to add the part that the hotel staff said that they had a fight, which changes the story a little bit. And I think we don't know. I've heard of people losing their temper and trying to end their lives and not succeeding, and sometimes succeeding. So I don't know. I think also the part about her being what is this? She's supposed to be an influencer. And this public thing of, oh, look at me and I'm better off over here and look at my soft life and look at me, I'm in Zanzibar, all this other stuff. If that goes wrong, I can see how sometimes people can panic and do something wrong.
She looked pretty happy to me,
Yeah.
She looked like she was living a life, right? She looked like she was living a life.
How does it go so wrong? Like how does this happy life get proposed to? How does it go so wrong? Like Tiara, what do you think if somebody's this happy? Now I'm looking at this person. This is a baby. This is a child. Like this, she's 31. Yep. She looks 24, 25. She looks, right? Yeah. So she's 31. This man has to be every bit of, white skin, maybe 45, 50.
Something
like that, maybe.
I'm gonna look. I'll look.
So what is the attraction outside of the just quote unquote again soft life? Like let's how do you assess risk? That's taking us a different direction. I don't want to do that. Okay. How happy and comfortable are you with somebody to go across the country with them, to accept their proposal, right? And then to unalive yourself? Do we think that there were any signs, right? Like I think sometimes when we're talking about a soft life or a life of wealth or prestige, if you will, do you think that sometimes women, this is not specific to her, right? Because we're having a conversation about this lifestyle, not her specifically. Do you think that women ignore the red flags? Do we think that there were signs before we got to this point? Meaning, but before somebody if someone allegedly were to unalive you, allegedly, if somebody were to unalive you, allegedly, do you think that there are signs that are leading to this person's character, how they operate, how they think, how they move prior to allegedly unaliving you, or they didn't have to be unaliving you, putting you in a situation of danger? Let's just say that, putting you in a situation of danger. Do you think women are so
Yes.
focused on having a soft life and a wealthy life that they completely speed past these red flags? Tia,
Yes.
you're already shaking your head. Yes, explain.
Yes. I think that there was absolutely red flags, right? Even, I'm just going to say I saw reports that this man was worth $45 million, and let's just say you feel like you're blessed to have a lifestyle. We've seen her lifestyle, right? The kind of life she was living. Before that, obviously, there had been some grievance with Black men, because I will show that screenshot in a bit. But I think, she found something, felt like she lucked up, and was looking over if it was control or whatever the situation was. And what I also noticed, and I didn't pull any video of Ashlee, to be honest, but she had a little mouth. Like, she was sassy. She seems like a New York girl. So very like, I could see her talking stuff, right? I could see them getting into a situation, her talking stuff like, well, you can keep your ring. Like, I could see all of that because of the videos that I've seen of her. And, I don't think that white men break up as well, like it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure, I'll just keep it here. I'm pretty sure with how much money he has and all of that, she saw signs of something. And just women in general. You asked me if women in general, I think we do, but we want situations so bad that we feel like, he wouldn't hurt me though. He might be a little controlling, but he give me $10,000, $20,000. We're going to Zanzibar. I've never done that before, right? He's exposing me to a lifestyle that I've never experienced. And so, there's this thing where people will be like, would you rather, cry in a Maybach or a Mazda? And women are like, I would rather cry in a Maybach. And if we think about, like, if it's true, even with Cassie and Diddy, or situations where women have been living a horrible life, a shell of themselves, compromising themselves in ways, especially with her being so young, that they just see money, they see wealth, and they're like, I just want to fall in line. Even if she was a little sassy, she still was like, this money contained me. So I would just say that, I think women do see signs, and there was probably lots of red flags, but she was like, this lifestyle is blinding me.
Or maybe she didn't even know the lifestyle was blinding her. Nomalanga, do you think that women move differently, or people, but for right now we're talking about women specifically, move differently when money is involved in the relationship?
I think so. I think they definitely do. And sometimes it's a matter of, for some women, it's actually a matter of being on the streets or being in the house. So he doesn't even have to be a millionaire or multi-millionaire. It could just be boo boo from the street, but he has a job and a house, and he buys food or whatever, keeps a roof over her head, and then he puts hands on her or does things that are unacceptable. And she just kind of like, where am I going to go, or what am I going to do? But to me, I didn't get that from her. Although I'll be honest, I've only seen, what's on my feed on Facebook. She looked like a pretty girl. She looked like she works out. She looks like she's got a lot of options and she believes it. That's what I was seeing just from that. So I don't know. I've heard also, just a little off topic, but still on topic, I've heard of women who fly to Dubai and have men poop in their faces and all kinds of things. So the extent that women
Yes.
at her face.
Yeah, that's the real situation.
I've heard of that. I'm responding to Shalaye's face, but yeah, I've heard of those stories, and I've actually heard of people who actually know those people, and they're saying, "Look, I can fly here and I can fly there, and then I come back with thousands and thousands of bucks. So what? Being pooped on my face is it lasts 5 minutes or whatever, and then I wash it off, and I got all these thousands, and I got a free trip to Dubai, and I this, that, and that, and the other. So." Yeah, definitely women do amazing things for money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell a really quick short story. I was probably like 19, maybe. I just got my passport. And this is back in the day when newspapers, there was this ad that said, I wanted to be a model when I was younger. And it was like, if you come over here, you can model this and the other, just need your passport. And I bought my passport, and I was literally about to, like, for real, legit go over there. And I told my mom, I was like, hey, I got a trip. They're going to pay for everything. All expenses are paid, this, that, and the other. All I need is my passport. She was like, let me see it. And I showed it to her. She called, talked to people. She was like, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Thank God that my mom had some discernment, because I was, again, young and dumb. I'm just stars in my eyes. That could have been me. I could have been over there getting pooped on. Thank the Lord.
You know what? Listen, LaNée, listen. I work in Hollywood. I've been propositioned before, and I was like, in the moment, I was like,
it be sounding good.
Who are you after this, though? Who are you after you be like, I'm gonna let you fly me around and pay my bills? But, like, I don't know. I think that's why a lot of women here in this town, like, they don't have it all, but there's a part of them that they've sacrificed. There's a part of their soul that is gone. That is selling soul to me. That is what that means. Yeah. So once you agree to one thing, I said, okay, you agree to give him a little head, this shriveled old white man head right now. If you agree to this, like, what other things after a while will you agree to?
Yes.
In real life, like those, I feel like the yeses will get big, like the request. It's like it's head today,
grooming.
It's like,
it's the grooming process.
It's the orgy tomorrow.
Yes, to this little bit, then
yes.
Shalaye, I want to ask you a question, then we'll go to our next video, Tiara.
Okay.
Do you think people confuse lifestyle with safety? Like I'm willing to trade, if I get this lifestyle, if I get flued out, if I get wealth, if I have my roof paid, if the roof over my head is paid for, if I have some money in my pocket, I'm safe, I'm secure.
Yeah.
This is considered, soft life.
Yes, I definitely do. And I think that we often confuse safe and secure with happiness and think that goes hand in hand. And I think that everything that we do it because we think in the having of it or getting of it, it'll make us happy. And so everything follows that line. And like when we were looking at her Instagram page and you guys were like, oh, she looked happy. People put on all day, every day for the gram. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't look necessarily happy. She looked like, this is a role that I'm playing and this is fun. It was probably fun for her also to play that role. But it wasn't necessarily that she looked happy. She looked like she was putting on for the gram. And that doesn't necessarily equate to safe or happy.
Content creator, getting angles. I always call it smoke and mirrors. People got to realize smoke and mirrors. There's this meme, I guess I saw years ago, of this dude taking this picture, and behind him is sand, and he's smiling. He's like, I bet you wish you was here. And there's somebody else taking a picture of him laying in the middle of trash with sand behind him. Right? Everything is smoke and mirrors. And when you see a shot go online, they took 17 shots to get that one shot that they posted. It's filtered, but we walk around believing that that's real and that's reality, and we want that life and we want those things. But you don't know what somebody has, and you don't know what they're giving away or what they're sacrificing for a soft life, if you will. Let's go to our next video, and then we'll keep this conversation going. Let us know in the chat what you guys are thinking. What are your thoughts in the chat? Tell us and let us know.
Yeah. I wanted to, with this next video, I want to just kind of lay it down, like some of the narratives that we're hearing around what a soft life looks like. And actually Black women and and African women are
tried enough for a Black man. Ladies, our shortcut to making money is always legit, because if you find a man that adore you, he will dure you. With what I'm seeing on social media, our Black sisters, if you have tried a Black man, it did not favor you, go for a white man. At least a white man will not just cheat on you openly. And not just a white man, a rich white man. The very rich men do not womanize. Ladies, stay away from broke men. Marry a rich man, and not just a rich man, a white man. With what I just listened to, I would say, if your Black man is not doing you well, just go for a white man, because if you marry a rich, he will put smile in your face, buy you gift, adore you, take you around the world without asking for anything in return. Just your smile is enough for him. But your Black boyfriend, your Black husband, If he give you any little thing, he wants you to spread your legs. He will want you to work for it. He will labor you because, of course, before he got that money, he worked for it. So he wants you to work for it in return. I mean, their package is full of drama. They have too much time to argue, to request, and to top it up, their ego, poor man's ego, is up there.
So I feel like this is the narrative, LaNée. This is the
Is
narrative.
she real or is she AI?
No. This is real
No,
life.
she looks
This
like
is
real.
real life.
She
I
looks
thought she was trolling.
No,
Me
this
too.
is
Like
her.
trolling.
This is
This is her
legit.
brand. No. This is what I mean, y'all. There's these young ladies or these old ladies
Project.
that are this is a trend on TikTok where Black women, African women, Black women all internationally are pushing this agenda. LaNée, go ahead, I'll give it back.
So there's so much to unpack here, right? There's unpacking the ideology that the only way to be taken care of is if you have a white man. Not she didn't say a rich man. She said that first, and then she came back and corrected herself. No, not just any rich man. It has to be a white rich man. And I think those are the two issues: rich and white, right? I might have been like, okay, she's talking about a rich man, let you choose, but really, I'm gonna take this one to Nomalanga first, because even when I hear that sometimes, and this is where I know me and her, we might do a little bit of this, is I feel like you shouldn't be going after anybody to take care of you. Like, take care of yourself, right? Until you meet somebody who then takes care of you. But the goal when you wake up every day is not to wake up and find me a rich white man to take care of me. It is to be a woman of substance. Let me be found doing like Ruth, and a nice dude finds me and says, hey, I want to cover you and take care of you. But when you yourself hear this, Nomalanga, what are your thoughts?
The only tweak, I don't have any problem with what you're saying. The only tweak is your parents are supposed to take care of you and then hand you over to your husband's family and they take care of you. So but it by no stretch of the imagination does it mean that you start seeking people out only for their money and only for their race. It's about trying to build a family based on a holistic approach of he has to be able to provide. He has to come from a good family. They have to, yeah, this is a lot. The other thing though also is even if somebody is rich and white, that is what she's saying is anti-African, because they have to be vetted. So just being white and being rich isn't enough. There has to be more that you have to dig into, because you can't just trust a person because they're rich and they're white. In fact, those might be the two reasons not to trust them.
Shalaye, do you think that dating wealthier men creates a false sense of security, and that maybe women are being sold a fantasy that doesn't really match reality?
I think that is definitely true in some or a lot of cases. I think in some cases you have a woman who has a good man and he just happens to be rich, or he just happens to be white, or he just happens to be rich and white, or Black and rich, or whatever it is. But I think that the problem is the more women as a whole, the more that we place our identity and our validation in our self-worth and being attached to a man, or having a man as your validation, I think that that's like the root of the problem. So it's like any man, like you said, boo-boo, who has, an apartment and a job, but as long as I got a man. So that's like the root of the problem, the very basic root of the problem, because our identity as women and as humans should stand alone, and it shouldn't be subject to having someone else validate you. That's the root issue. And then the issue of actually going out to say, I don't think it's a problem going out to say, I would like for someone to come in and support me and take care of me, especially if I'm going to give them children and a life and a home and things like that. But I feel like some women look at it as that's the goal. Like, I feel like we should have goals for ourselves. And like you said, LaNée, come into alignment with that. And so that when you meet that man who has money, you're kind of equally yoked with him in spirit, in mind, and things like that. Your person is equally yoked with him. In a situation like this, I feel like the power dynamic is totally off, because he has all the money, he has the influence, he has the power, and he's older than her. I feel like the power dynamic in that situation, where women are going, especially younger women, are going after older, rich, and white men, that's a triple threat. What do they call it? A trifecta of a power imbalance.
Anonymous said, if you're marrying a rich white man, he better be supporting reparations. Sierra, do you think? Oh, that's hold on. That's my question for Noma. Okay, what role do you think the social media plays in how people choose partners? Do you think that?
Had you asked me that question?
Okay.
I'm sorry, because I literally was just thinking, yeah, that all sounds really good until you get on social media, right? For whatever reason, I say this every time at least once a month when I get on this show, that social media is not real. Right? Social media is not real. And they've painted the picture, like you said, like somebody with the fan and the garbage and all of that. I feel like there's more people doing that than not. And so what we're doing is looking around in a really unhealthy way, comparing ourselves and our lives. Everybody wants this aesthetic. Not everybody, but most people that are online want the aesthetic of looking like I have it all together. I have money. I can get flued out. I can fly out whenever I want. Everybody, it feels like, wants that aesthetic. And so if you want that, and the answer is to marry up, because times is hard. Let's not act like eggs ain't $6 and gas ain't $7 in California, right? There's all these things, like it in real life, women are trying to survive. So even if you're pretty or whatever the situation is, if you can snag a rich man, that's survival, right? He can make me look a certain way. This is now the Facebook aesthetic or Instagram aesthetic has now become the American dream, I think. And so people are dying for this aesthetic. And so unfortunately, it's weird times, really. Like, people are literally dying for it, right? And so I just think that's the dangerous part, where you can't separate what's real and what's fake anymore with AI, but really with social media in general. Social media is the first AI, right? Where we just can't tell what is real and what is not. And so I just think that we have to be mindful of that at all times.
That's a bar. Social media is the true AI. And then you layer AI. I always tell people, in my clients specifically, it's in the name, social media. You're either on there to be social, and if you're on there just to be social and have a good time, you are the customer, you are the client, they're going to sell to you. Or you're on there for media. You have a business, you are operating, and you need to get your business out there, and you're using it as media. So either you're on there to be sold to, or you're on there to do selling to. And both parties are putting their representatives out in front of you, right? So even if I'm on there to be social, I'm going to show you how I'm living. You're looking at your high school class reunion and all your old friends. So you want to make sure that your hair look good, and so you what do we call it? Flossing for the gram. And then people who are selling something to you, they want to look like they got a certain lifestyle, doing certain things, so they're trying to sell to you too. Nobody is coming with who they are in their hand. They're either there to be social, or they're there for media, right?
Yeah.
We have our next video ready to go?
We do. And so this young lady was saying basically that her idea is that we're Black men
about
or rich men.
Very wealthy white men. And let me just say, like, not all white men are like this, okay? But you do have your handful. A few things that I've noticed about very wealthy white men is that they are extremely controlling. And when they are dealing with Black women, not only are they controlling, they are racist as hell. I remember I was seeing this one very, very wealthy man here in Vegas. And he had been pursuing me for about 3 years. And when we first crossed paths, I didn't find him very attractive because I was only seeing pictures of him online. He tried to pursue me online. And so I basically told him that I wasn't interested in that. Must have bruised his ego, because all of a sudden he found out my real name. He found out where I live. He did a background check on me, all from my number. So you guys also got to be careful giving your number out, because people are so fucking weird. So he did all that, and he harassed me for a while, all because I said I wasn't interested in him. Now, 2025, this is where I messed up. I ended up getting a text from a number saying that they were sorry and they wanted to meet me and, you know, put the past behind. And then they sent a picture. And I was like, oh, okay, this is, you know, the crazy one, batshit crazy one, but he's fine. So I ended up meeting him. My first time meeting him was on Valentine's Day. Let me just say, people don't fucking change, okay? People do not change. And his craziness continued. Now, I remember this man would say things to me like, I can make you disappear to the point that nobody would ever even remember you. I remember the latch on my door, he would say things like, oh, I can break into this. And also, let me note that, girls, these rich-ass white men, they're not stupid. They know when a woman is just with them for their money. They know that shit. He would say things to me like, oh, you thought you scored. You thought you scored a good one. He would also say things like, you don't deserve to breathe our air.
So
Crack the whip, baby.
let's say let's go along with this narrative. Let's say that these older white men are targeting Black women, younger Black women. What would
As a
be the
fetish?
reason? What
As a fetish?
Okay, so the question is,
Oh.
what would be the reason? And everybody can answer. Tiara started with fetish. Go for it. That's it. That's the answer.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was about to say a fetish, and let's just be clear: Black women are bomb, right? We are amazing, right? So I don't know why somebody wouldn't want to be with a Black woman. You know, there is a Black woman effect on white men. Have you noticed? Like you know, you can get online and it's like there's a certain kind of man. The Black woman does something to the white man, and you know, visually, and then just the way she loves on him. It's, you know, I just think it's something
The
that
Black woman does something to any type of man,
To
but a
any
Black
kind
man
of
comes with his
man.
own swagger, so it's not as easily to see. Whereas with Opie, you see it like, ooh,
I
he is
can't.
just
No, Opie.
the Travis
That's
Kelce
it.
effect. You see what happened? He was with Kayla, and then it just went to shit when he got with Taylor. Like, oh man.
Yeah. So I mean, there's just something special. I think it's a fetish thing. I think, you know, I mean, they've been, yeah, white men have been loving on Black women illegally and legally for a very long time. So let's,
Very
you know,
long.
since we came to this country. So there's that.
Deborah Woman said, "Baby, leave these people alone." All right, Shalaye, your thoughts. Why do you think that the older white men is focusing on the younger Black women?
I think sometimes I have friends who have interracial marriages, right? And I can see from the ones that I see where it's the white man married to the Black woman, he's really, really in love with her. That's been what I've seen. But for a lot of white men, especially powerful, rich white men, and they don't even have to be powerful and rich, but especially them, I think it's about control. I think it's about having her, and Black women are powerful, right? And having her bend and trying to break her, or just having her as something that is like your possession and kind of like a property thing. That's what I really think it is, especially with the older rich ones.
Okay. What about you, Noma?
So what kind of piqued my interest was that, first of all, she said she was in Vegas, and then she said he found out my real name. So then I was like, oh, so you have another name, you know? And then I was like, okay, is this a stripper? But I'll go down that rabbit hole. Actually, predators do go after women who they feel like society won't care as much about. Yes, because there's this idea that a woman who's a stripper or sells her body or whatever is less valuable than the normal or average woman. And actually, a lot of women who are in the sex trade go missing, or they die and you just don't know what happened. I've watched actually at least 2 documentaries about this. And sometimes they don't even voluntarily go into the trade, but they end up in there and then they go missing, they get abused, and then they just go missing. So there is that factor of feeling like they put a white man will put a white woman on a pedestal, and then we're just down there to play with, abuse, and discard.
You know, you brought up a good point. As I'm going through my mind on the various social media accounts that I have seen of Black women with older white men saying this is the life. When I think about them and I look at them, I'm going to say this as tactfully as I possibly can, Lord. They are not the smartest and the brightest and the most driven of us, right? I'm not going to say that they are easily influenced or that they are
I want to play the video. No, I don't want to play the video while you're talking. I don't think there's audio to it. So go ahead and say what you gonna say.
Yeah,
LaNée.
I'm trying to think. So the one girl, you have the one young
I got
Black
the girl.
girl.
I got the girl. I got her. Oh,
You the time and the
damn.
place.
Oh, this is one of them.
Just come be
This is the wig one.
Yes, that's the wig.
Is that Richard Branson?
No.
Oh.
But they all look like puppets. Whenever you see these women and their men, it look like the man is like the arm candy. You know what I'm saying? Like I think we might be looking at it the wrong way. She is the pimp. He is the customer.
Easily influenced, and also, that happens a lot. And
but they're not the most driven, the smartest, let's say the sharpest tool in the toolbox. So maybe this is the better route to go. I don't have to elevate myself. I don't have to strive. I don't have to be smart. I don't have to be driven. I don't have to do any of these things. I can just get with this rich white man. He will take care of me and I can live a good life.
But what are you giving up for that? Believe me, he probably got hurt in doing things with other
You're
people.
giving up the same thing you would give up with these are her words for a dusty.
For a dusty. That's what she say.
She said you can give it up to the old white man or a dusty.
So and I've heard that perspective. Oh, you gonna do it? You might as well do it. How about not do it? How about work on yourself? How about build yourself up, your self-esteem, your self-worth? How about don't just be like, okay, my value is between my legs or whatever I can physically give to a man and appeal to his lower self. Like, how about build yourself up and then you will feel differently about yourself and you wouldn't want to even be in that position.
Shalaye, you are bright. I don't know if you've ever seen this young lady's video because she talk like this and she talk real slow like this. And she be like, if you gonna be with a dusty, you don't need to be with no dusty. You need to be with a man like mine.
No, she doesn't talk like
yes,
that.
Yes, she does.
Well, maybe she's
find a video. Go find a video. She does. Exactly how she talks. She talks slow and everything is a dusty.
I'm not trying to be offensive. And I'm not putting this narrative out about her, but she looks like she may have been a worker. And it's like, okay, well,
she has a son, and she has a son with a Black man. So she has a son with a Black man, and I guess that relationship did not work out well.
He left her.
He left her. So after that, she decided that she was not going to live a poor life or a life where she had to take care of herself or her son. And so she decided that she was going to start dealing with rich white men. Now, in order to do that, here's the thing. In order to get a rich white man, you have to do certain things. And so a lot of these soft life chicks who push this narrative, they tell you have to be at certain restaurants, you got to be at certain hotels. You're not just running into these rich white men. You have to put yourself in certain places. So they're at on the golf course. They're at certain places because they're using themselves as bait. But you have to know where the fish is at so that you can get caught.
There's a playbook.
It's true across the board. This is true across the board. If I'm like talking to a young woman or coaching a young woman, I'm going to talk to her about where to be and how to be and all these other things. So for them, it's very specific. Like white people or white rich men go here. So go here to get a rich white man. But if I'm coaching a woman, I'm also telling her like, look, stay at the club if you're looking for serious relationship because that's not where it's at. Go to places where you think people who are on your level in terms of intellectually, in terms of accomplishment, conversation level, be in those places. And then maybe you'll meet the right caliber of men because women will be complaining. I always meet these dusties. I always do this. And I'm like, well, where do you meet them? And then it's like, well, maybe you need to think about where you're going, right? So they've just kind of honed in on the rich white men go here. And then they go there. But I don't see anything wrong with being in the right place at the right time and going after what you want. I just have a problem with thinking that it should be a rich white man.
Okay.
Right.
Let's look at our stats, and then we could do another video if we
Well,
have
you
one.
just I see my fingers on the trigger of the video, but okay. Okay,
Oh.
let's go to stats. No,
What
let's
is
go.
that for? Okay.
Do I
So
got
the United States Department
Go ahead.
reports that thousands of Americans face legal or safety issues abroad each year, often without immediate support. Emergency reparations, what is that? Emergency repatriations of a body from overseas can cost between $10,000 to $25,000.
Okay.
Many travelers do not carry international insurance or emergency funds. And then financial abuse is presently in nearly 1 in 4 relationships, often limiting a partner's ability to leave. Studies show people are more likely to ignore red flags when a partner provides financial stability or lifestyle upgrades. Influencers' income is often inconsistent, creating pressure to maintain an image that may not reflect reality. And lastly, relationship-related homicides and suspicious deaths often occur during moments of conflict or transition.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our next video.
Yeah, can I just say, I don't know all the particulars, but there's a politician that unalived his Black woman in front of their children just this morning, like early this morning, or like last night, or sometime in the morning, early this morning. And so I just think that Black women in general, it feels like we're in a vulnerable place right at this moment. So I'm not saying that to say like, I don't think it's a Black or a white thing, because it's so funny. Anonymous was like, who picked this topic? It was me. But I'm trying to have a conversation basically about women protecting themselves, but just being mindful of how we're choosing men, what we're ignoring just to live a certain life. I understand that we have to survive. I understand that survival has been a big part of our experience. And so we just feel like, Black women have always had to brunt a lot of things in our community. And so just wanting that soft life, wanting to say somebody else can have it. I want to just be taken care of. I just want to just be able to just relax, because we don't get to relax. And so, we're dying for that though. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make with this whole conversation. But here's the video of the young lady that might be a little slow. I think she's on spectrum.
That's what she said, exactly. I wasn't going to put it that way.
And then we can see what we can do.
Then we can see what we can do. Yeah. Yeah. And I figured, well, I don't like anybody else nowhere close to as much as I like this gal already. So that was easy. And that's kind of how we met. And I think we fell in love. It was within a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
It was instantly.
Yeah.
I bet it was, girl.
We just meshed very well together.
Yeah.
I bet y'all did.
Yeah, we like the way each other sounds, and we like the way each other, without any perfume or anything. We like
Our natural scent.
how each other smells. And she liked my redneck accent, which nobody ever tells me that.
Yikes.
Because it kind of reminded her of home, I guess.
I like your little country.
In Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, lucky me. I feel very fortunate that Shayla's in my life.
That's right. Wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's not one of the better ones, but that's
not
good
one of the better ones.
Yeah, she has some other ones that just be like, just cringe. I mean, that one was cringe by itself, but some of that, the Dusties.
I was like on the show, so I couldn't find one of the. She was like, but she just yes.
Yeah.
Deborah said Kenny Rogers. That's exactly who he looked like.
Listen, Ananta, who picked this damn topic, bro? Hey, it has to be talked about, man. The thing about the internet for me is everybody has an opinion of the internet, right or wrong, good or bad. Whatever you think or believe, you can find it. And what's worse is if you don't have a thought or a belief, you will find somebody and they will trick you into believing what they believe. So somebody somewhere is thinking that they need to have a soft life and get them a rich white man, instead of understanding what relationship is and what teamwork is and how you can build together. Maybe the man comes into your life rich. Maybe he comes in with potential and y'all work together and you build something. But people are really online selling this soft life narrative as if the only way to have a quote unquote soft life is to be with a rich white man. So it's the type of conversation we have to have, because people are doing it and they're getting unalived. They're doing it and they're being hurt. They're doing it and it's not ending the way that they think that it should. So that's why the conversation is necessary to have. Before we go and start go ahead. I'm going to do our honoring our International Black Woman before we get to our final thoughts. Oh, good. Nomalanga is going to read this.
Nomalanga is going to read it. Did you get that, Nomalanga? Did you see it in the email?
Oh, great. She's frozen right now.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, man.
No, she's not.
Okay.
Wait,
you're mute.
Noma? You are frozen.
It turns out just changing screens freezes me because I'm trying to get the thing. Yeah. But I have it.
Okay, go for it.
I gotta get it somewhere else than where on my screen because apparently if I switch.
Do you know who she is, and have you had any not interaction with her, but I know you. Go ahead.
I know who she is because there's only 2 million people in Botswana, which is like, this changes this whole conversation. You can't go on social media and say you have a soft life. There'll be somebody coming out, girl, I saw you yesterday. You lying. Such and such. I saw you at the mall. Well, that doesn't work when you have like a very small, a small population. So it's always funny to me that people can do that in larger population. Here it is. Okay. The lady that we're talking about is Joy Kinowendo. And she is, she's actually currently a minister. She's older now, but at the time when she was made a minister, she was only 31 years old. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Try to find it on the phone.
No, you said the name. That's what I need help with was the name. So say Bugolo Joy Kinowendo. Is it an economist?
Bugolo is the Setswana name, and then it's Joy, and then Kinowendo. Kinowendo doesn't come naturally to me to say, so she must be from a different part of the country from me.
Okay. Yeah. So here it says she's an economist and policy leader from Botswana who became one of the youngest cabinet ministers in Africa when she was appointed Minister of Investment, Trade, and Industry. With a background in international economics and development, she has worked with institutions like the World Bank and the United Nations, focusing on trade, economic growth, and expanding access to opportunity across the continent. During her time in government, she pushed for policies that supported entrepreneurship, strengthened local economies, and created pathways for women and young people to participate more fully in financial systems. That is our honoree for today's International Black Woman Moment.
Yes.
All right. Our final thoughts for today. I'll start with you, Shalaye. At the end of the day, what does real safety in a relationship actually look like? And or are we teaching young women how to protect themselves in a relationship?
So I don't believe we have been teaching young women how to protect themselves. I believe that we have been teaching young women that men are here to protect them, and that's the man's job. And I think that's part of the issue, that narrative. First, we need to be able to protect ourselves. And even if that's not in a physically protective way, it's protecting your emotions, protecting your intimacy, protecting your body, and protecting your mind and your spirit and building yourself up. Deborah said it. She said, divest, be a divester in yourself, invest in yourself first, because that's where real confidence is going to come from. When you build yourself up, you have that confidence to take yourself to the marketplace. And when you have that confidence in yourself, you will spot and see the red flags very early, and you will be able to move away from people you may be able to move away from. Doesn't mean that it's a 100% foolproof, but it will help. I'm Shalaye with Vital Source Realty in Boston, Massachusetts, and I can help you buy or sell real estate anywhere in the United States or Canada. And I'd love to help our B1 family, so reach out to me. I'm on Instagram at Shalaye Camillo, YouTube at Shalaye Camillo, and you can visit my website at vitalsourcerealty.com.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing. Nomalanga, what about you? You can either answer, what does real safety in relationship actually look like? Or are we teaching young women how to protect themselves, or just how to be chosen?
So the two are not mutually exclusive about teaching young women how to protect themselves and how to be chosen. I always say I grew up with a dad. I have brothers, I have uncles, I have a husband. So I don't feel like I have to protect myself. They all protect me and they always will. I actually find it sad for a woman to say she has to protect herself. I think that's really, really sad. And I think that's one of the reasons why Black women are vulnerable. We don't have enough male protection. I've seen a lot of women where, even here, whether it was when I've had the privilege of traveling a lot and living in different countries. And everywhere you go, where you see a lot of men absent, that's when you get the narrative of women saying they have to protect themselves. Of course they do, because the men are not there. And the men who don't protect women are typically predators of women. So that's where that comes from of, we have to protect ourselves. But I can tell you, I've been sounding like a broken record for so many years, that if we build two-parent stable families, this idea that young girls, young women, or even older women have to protect themselves and have to be on guard about something happening to them and them being vulnerable will subside. It does reduce. Do you have predators within families? Of course. But again, you should have a majority of the men around a woman being the protectors. Young boys should be raised with the idea that the job is to protect the women around them. Their job is to provide for the women around them. That's how we create security and safety for women. That's the hill that I'm always going to die on, because I've lived it and I've seen the contrast. I've seen the contrast.
So I have a question for you, Norman, because I know we're not final thoughts. I'm so sorry. I know you have to go, Miss Black Hollywood, but
it's okay.
For a young lady who's out walking the street, let's say she's walking herself to school, you don't think she should know how to protect herself?
What? Why isn't her dad walking her to school?
Well, most parents aren't walking their kids to school, mom or dad. They're either going to get on the bus or they're going to walk around the corner to their friend's house. Like if I'm going to my friend's house and I have to walk from my house to my friend's house, I should know how to protect myself.
I actually, as an adult, only learned about that latchkey kid with the children who go home and be by themselves. I didn't even know that existed in the world. So some things I will admit are foreign to me.
No, so that makes sense.
I will answer your question.
Because the comment, it comes across, so I think it's a cultural thing. Because as a young person, as a lady, you need to know how to protect yourself, because everywhere you go, your protector will not be with you. Going from the grocery store to your car, you need to know how to protect
protecting
yourself.
her is teaching her how to understand what we call stranger danger. And we do this for our little girls, but little boys too. Don't talk to strangers. Don't take candy from the guy in the van and all that kind of stuff. But those are in-betweeners. Those are in between. When I'm not here, here's how you protect yourself. Not all day, every day, all your life.
So a person does need to know how to protect themselves. That's what I was getting at. But you
as an interim, yeah. As an interim, absolutely. But like right now, for example, when the sun goes down, I'm never alone at home. I'm never alone in after dark by myself. It's like, because again, I'm a woman, it's not safe. We've heard of stories of women being in a house by themselves and getting attacked by usually a predator who's aware of the fact that she's by herself. So we don't do that. A lot of times, if I have to go somewhere at night, either my brother, my husband, or whoever will drop me off and pick me up. Again, that's all about safety. And I've seen it happen, especially like with Muslim countries. I'm not a Muslim. I don't come from a Muslim country, but I see them where the men are protecting the women, and people try to say, oh, they're so controlling, or they this, that, and the other. They're protecting them. But if you come sometimes from, and it's not just cultural, because I like my formative years from about 25 to 40, I was living in Black communities, and this was still true. If you're not in that kind of community, yeah, protection can feel like control, or it can feel overbearing, or it can feel foreign. And I know that because I've seen the contrast.
Okay. Tiara, your final thought?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think for a second it felt like we were talking about two different things, but I understand just the umbrella of protection. But what I'll say is this, I think in American culture, we're taught to date up and not to date down. And women are given all of these narratives about how to survive or how to marry well or how to protect themselves. And I don't know. I don't know if that information is always right. You know, I just feel like for us, we're going to have to use our intuition that God gives us to know that if you are, I feel like before, God always warns, right? In a sense where if you see a man trying to control you, you know that man is not for you. It's not for you. That the situation is not for you. I feel like I'm reading a book right now from 2 Chainz, actually, of all the people, but I'm really inspired by it. His bio is called God is the voice in my head. The voice in my head is God. And I feel like women are given that. Like it's about instinct. It's about us trusting ourselves to know. I think that's the God in us is going to be the thing that's going to protect us, right? What to know, to walk away. I feel like we feel it. When my cousin was murdered by her husband a couple years ago, I felt like she knew that. As a matter of fact, a couple days before, she told somebody else that. Like, I feel like my husband could kill me. Sure enough, less than a week later, he killed her, right? So it's like, I just feel like allowing him to lure her back to the house, like, let's just work on it. That was the intention. Let me lure you back and I'm gonna shoot you. When he was there, he had 2 guns ready, waiting for her, right? And so I just feel like she knew, but the good in her or the best in her, seeing the best in him, which is sometimes a woman flaw, seeing the best in people when they don't see or seeing the potential in somebody, and allowing him to lure her back, like maybe we can talk about it, you know, and ultimately it led to her demise. So women, trust yourselves, trust the voice inside of you saying, no, this is not right. And I think ultimately that is your protection. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood. Listen, I know LaNée is about to say it, but I'm going to be in Miami next week. It's next week, right? Because I've been saying I'm going to be in Miami next week. Teaching people how to tell stories, and I'm so excited. I feel like it's the one thing that God gave us all that we can use as leverage is our story. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but 50 Cent just received a $75 million Hulu documentary 3-part special to tell the story of his life. How many times can he tell us he was shot 9 times and he got rich and died trying, right? Y'all, money is out here for you. Use your story. MissBlackHollywood.net. Holla at me.
I love that. So my final thought is going to be super quick and super simple. Women, be vigilant. Protect yourself. Whatever that looks like. If it's discernment, if it's taking a karate class, if you're going to be as small as that baby girl was and date a man that's that big, like just be vigilant. Whatever that means. Protect yourself financially. Protect your spirit. Protect your body. Protect your mind. Date, but be safe. Don't ignore the red flags. We see them, right? I'm saying right now, I'm saying a red flag is a red flag. It's not pink. It's not fuchsia. It's not off pink. When you're younger, you can do that. It ain't that bad. It's okay. When you get older, you get discernment. That flag is red, and I see that it's red. And I'm not going to plastic go, and I'm not going to collect $200. We need more of that. We need more village. We need more people to talk to. We need more people to tap us on the shoulder and be like, maybe this ain't right. Maybe this is not for you. Like, and just be comfortable to say those things. But that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I am going to talk about Black Power, which is going to be next, less than 10 days. We have officially launched virtual. So if you want to join us virtually, you can. Right now, for the next 48 hours, it's $99. I'm going to say it again. Right now, for the next 48 hours, $99 for a virtual ticket. If you go to BlackPowher, BlackPowher.com, and you use the code FNM, which is Fly Nubian Money 50, you will get a ticket for $99. It is not advertised anywhere except to my email list and what I'm saying to you. So if you go to the website, it's going to say $149, okay? But you have to put in FNM 50 and you will get it for $99 until tomorrow at midnight. Hopefully we'll see you in Miami, but if we don't, you can always get into the room virtually. BlackPower.com. All right, final outro. The story is still unfolding, but what we do know is this: where you go matters, who you go with matters, and how you prepare matters. Lifestyle does not equal safety. Money does not equal protection. And being chosen does not mean you are secure. So the real question is not what happened to her. It is, what are you doing to make sure it does not happen to you? I'm Dr. LaNée Javette, joined by these beautiful queens, Shalaye and Nomalanga. This is Fly Nubian Money. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock p.m. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us. Go out and have a great day on today. Stay Black, be blessed, and be one. We'll see you guys tomorrow.